It's your girl Lamonday here, and I know I'm like sitting here in like a robe, but your girl just got out of the shower and about to make me some dinner. But I wanted to talk to you guys because today is National Coming Out Day. And I love this day so much because I think people get it very misconstrued sometimes. They think like, well, why do you need a whole day? Like, what's like, I don't understand, why are you boasting about it? But coming out to people in the LGBTQ community is such a big moment for us. Like, it's a build up over time that really, once it happens, it feels like a huge weight off your shoulders. So I just wanted to kind of like talk to you guys for a little bit and let you know just a bit about my story and how I came out to my family. So I'm gonna take it back a little bit before the actual coming out. I came out when I was 22 years old, and I came out on Christmas holiday. I was flying home for the holidays, and I knew what I was gonna do as soon as I got home. So the whole flight, I was dreading. I was just kind of like in my head about the process and what was gonna happen, what I was prepared to happen, and things like that. I even told one of my really good friends, I was like, hey, like, just in case my family doesn't take it well, can I stay with you? And that's the level of seriousness that I think we have to remember when it comes to coming out and people's coming out story. It's really a notion of survival and what is possible. There's a lot of people, when they came out, they didn't survive that because of the backlash that they faced. So I knew that I was queer, or part of the alphabet gang, when I was in middle school. I remember very vividly. I honestly remember it like it was yesterday. I was with my godmother. We were driving. She picked me up from school, and it was a gospel song that was on the radio station, 103.9 The Light. It was a gospel station in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. And it was a Ty Tribbett song. It was called Victory. I love this song. I would sing it all the time. It's a very catchy song. It's a really, really dope song. So as I'm singing, along to the song, again, I'm 12 years old. I think I was in 6th grade. I'm singing along to this song that I've sung along to all the time. And there's a part of the song at the end of the break where he goes, come out of poverty, come out of lesbianism, come out of homosexuality. And to me, as a 12-year-old, and I was just like liking girls around that time, or thinking girls in my class and on TV were really cute, and just kind of having these thoughts, but I wasn't sure what to do with my thoughts. It was just at the cusp of me just really understanding and liking, feeling like I like girls, this whole time, like, boy crushes and stuff. But that was the first time that I was in this period of liking girls and just kind of not knowing what to do with my emotions around it. And I remember when that part came on, when the song goes, come out of poverty, come out of lesbianism, come out of homosexuality, I really I paused for a second from singing, and I just was pondering and thinking. And I remember I turned to my godmother, who was driving, she was driving me home, and I was like, hey, like, why is it that people can kill each other, somebody can kill someone, say sorry to God, and again, I'm 12, so these are the words and the language that I'm using. Someone can kill someone, say sorry to God, and God forgive them, but if two women like each other, that's a bad thing in the eyes of God. And I remember my godmother like jolted, like she like stopped the car, and she turned to me in the backseat, and she was like, what did you just say? And I was like, because, me and her, we had a really, good relationship. We still do, thankfully. And, I just like, yeah, like a 12-year-old just thinking out loud to an adult who should have these answers, right? So I'm saying that to her, and she's just like, I don't know, talk to your mother when you get home. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, again, a kid just kind of like thinking through these things in real time. I go home, I go upstairs, I throw my book bag. I think I'm about to start like my homework, just like, hanging around in my room. And as I'm hanging around my room, my mom busts open my door, and she's like, what did you tell your godmother? Like, what did y'all talk about in the car? And I was very taken aback. Like, I was like almost scared. Like, And I was like, I just said, and I said what I said again, and my mom gave me the weirdest look. Like it was very horrifying, the look that she gave me, and she was like, wait right here, don't go anywhere. And I was just like, oh my God, am I in trouble? Like I was very much like, what is happening? Because I wasn't sure the dynamic around talking about sexuality or homosexuality. Like I wasn't sure what that it really entailed. So my mom comes back and she's has a phone and she's on the phone with my uncle and my aunt, and she's like, tell them exactly what you told me, in a very aggressive, abrasive way. And I'm kind of like trembling at this point because I feel like I'm in trouble, although nobody has said I was in trouble, but I definitely feel it, you know what I mean? So I was like, I just said, and so I was like stammering over my words, and I say it, and I really just say it again to my aunt and my uncle, who both, and I will caveat, or give context. My mother is a bishop, Pentecostal, all my life she's been a bishop, and my aunt and my uncle are also bishops as well. So I think she thought to call them as a way to validate what she said, or just validate the moment, being like, no, we all agree this is not okay, whatever, or that. And my aunt tried in a very nice, calm way, my uncle too, hey, Lamonday, that's just not, and I forgot the wording they used because they were kind of stammering over their words too, but basically by the end of the call, and my mom was like, so you get it now? You understand now? To the point where I felt very much yeah, I get it, sure. So that was a very defiant moment for me, because it just really allowed me to understand that wow, I came to all of the adults that I know in my life so honestly, so innocently to talk about this, and I felt super shut down. And it also made me not want to express that I was liking girls in my class. So all this time up until then, I would get oh, you got a little boyfriend, in your class, you like a little boy in your class, oh, such and such a church, he likes you, da 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 da, all this stuff. But when it came to this idea around girls and stuff, it was fully shut down. I could not talk about it. So that was kind of my existence for the next, up until college. I was very, close-lipped in my household about my sexuality and who I was. Also, it didn't help that, my mother on certain days of the church would be in the pulpit kind of saying, very derogatory things about the LGBTQ community. I will preface that since then, obviously now, my mother and I, we've talked about those days, and she definitely admits that, that she handled the situation very poorly, and she was just kind of going off of what she knew. You're talking about a 70-year-old Black Southern Pentecostal woman who, up until me, honestly, and the certain men at the church who, again, were closeted, or, everyone she knew older than me at the church who maybe was queer, it was kind of they came to her church to kind of get rid of it. So she never really knew people who really accepted who they were and were living a very thriving life. I think that over the years since I graduated and stuff, people have come into her life that are very affirmed in who they are, but that just wasn't the case with me growing up. So I very much knew that I couldn't say anything. And when you are holding on to secrets like that, especially things that are very taboo in your family, it gets very murky. And when I say that, basically what I mean is that I didn't talk about me being queer, or being a lesbian, or being bisexual, or anything like that for a really long time, until I was in New York and financially independent and able to do so, or me feeling like I was able to do so, because so much of my being, since I was literally in sixth grade, I want to say, I knew I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to live in LA. I wanted to live in New York. And I just knew that the type of people in New York would just be amazing and accepting of me. whether it was, the first experience that I went to New York, I just loved everything about it. I thought everybody was super cool and everybody was just in their own lane, just like minding their own business, like not really caring about what other people were doing. And I just loved that. And I think, subtly I loved that because, there are people who were just walking around with like no care in the world about what their family thinks of them. Just really out here gunning it, trying to achieve their sense of success. And I really, really admired that. And so since I was like 12, 11, 12, since my first trip to New York, I was like, Mom, after I graduate college, I want to move to New York. So it was always this, idea that I would move to New York. It was like, I would graduate, I would move to New York. And since sixth grade, that's been what it was. So when I, graduated eighth grade, my mom was like, you graduated eighth grade. Oh, it's so big. What do you want? I was like, money to move to New York. When I graduated high school, oh my God, Lamonday, that's such a big accomplishment. We're so proud of you. What do you want? Money to move to New York. And so when the time came and I graduated college, that was the same notion. So even though, in college I was, making out with girls, trying to talk to girls, but that never really escalated to anything. It was mainly just like make out sessions here or there. But I just knew I couldn't say anything. I knew I had to be very tight-lipped about my experiences. And, like I had my best friend, Mo, would come to, family dinners at my house. And my mom loves Mo to death. Oh my gosh, she loves him so much. And so, but, he would leave after dinners and stuff. And my mom would just be like, I just love Mo, blah, blah, blah. But is he gay? Da, da, da. And I was like, I don't know, because again, when we were in high school, so it was like our business and what we were sharing, we weren't really disclosing it to a lot of people, and I didn't want to like just do that to him, even though like obviously like I knew, and she was like, and she's like, I was like, is he gay? I was like, no. He was like, are you gay? And I was like, no. And that was just like the running thing because I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to jeopardize the notion of her faith being like, New York is going to tarnish you. You're not going to New York and not give me the money that I needed to do so. So it was kind of a strategic effort from my end to not, be very outwardly, outwardly to her about my experience and everything because I didn't want to jeopardize it. So I was tight-lipped and everything until, I was 22. I met a girl. I was so smitten with her at the time. And I knew, I was like, when I come home for Christmas break, because I was financially independent, the only thing my mom was paying for at the time was my phone bill. And I was ready to take that over if when I came out that, she wanted to kick me off the plan or something. So, I came home for the holidays and I was like in my head about it, but I knew I had to do it, and it was such a big moment for me, and I didn't even realize what a big moment it was until it happened. And it happened. I went home. I was sitting at the island table. My mom was preparing some food, and I was like, "Ma, I have to tell you something," and she was like, "Okay, like what is it, baby? Like whatever." And I was like, I'm bisexual. At the time, I came out as bisexual. And she was like, oh, like, I've known that. Like, and so as soon as she said that, like, it was like a part of me, like, I never understood the expression of like a weight lifted off your shoulders until that moment, because that's exactly what it felt like. I felt so relieved, like I almost wanted to cry. But then, like, a couple seconds after she said, like, oh, I've known that, but you don't got to tell the whole family. And I was like, girl, most of the family know by now. I was just waiting to get, some money, some consistent paychecks so that I could come out to you. But it was just like, it definitely rubbed me the wrong way. And since then, we've talked about her saying that. But when I tell you, it was such a beautiful experience to feel that. I hate that I had to go through that. I hate that I had to have all of these tossing and turning at night about what I was going to say and all this stuff. But the moment you come out, you really come into who you are and who you're supposed to be. I just felt so affirmed in my, decision to do so. And nothing changed for me. And that's not the case for everybody. I've heard some horrific stories about people coming out to their families, but my mom, she was very loving about it. She gave me a big hug, she gave me a big kiss, and she was just like, I'm not, like, you're my baby, like like I'm not, nothing is going to change. And over the times, like, I will, it's been back and forth in terms of the problematic language and us working on that. But it's an ever evolving route with people like my mother and other people's mothers who, they're just stuck in their ways, and they're trying to change. It's just that everything that they're around is so much different than my environment. My environment is very liberal. I'm around a lot of liberal, progressive people. That's not the case for her. So she's trying as much as she can, and I just love that she's here every day for us to continue to work on it. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you all my story. There's definitely more to that. If there's anything you want to know specifically about, anything I might have left out in that time, or any reactions that from my mom, like, let me know. But it definitely was a journey, but one that I'm so thankful for. Being a part of the LGBTQ community is such a special thing. Only now can you live in an age where a black queer woman like myself can be doing so well, career wise, and just have so much love and support around them with not a lot of backlash. Like, I feel for the people like me decades and decades ago who had to really, shun themselves from the world. Like, and I think that that's what these coming out stories and the National Coming Out Day means, is that, we are really here for each other. And, the stories that we've gone through to get to where we are, and to get to the acceptance of who we are, is so important. So, I hope that, just kind of like inspired some of you young people. Like, please, do what's best for you. I did what was best for me. It was best for me to stay tight-lipped until I felt comfortable to do so. And if your journey looks a little different, that's okay too. Like, I think we have to just have discernment for what's the best thing for us, and really hold ourselves to it. So again, let me know if you need anything, if you have any questions. But yeah, we gay out here, bitch. Deuces!